Hello, today we are going to talk about HCL Domino, which is a email server and email client plus applications, so GUI applications, server and client. Okay, it was previously named IBM Notes and before that Lotus Notes. Initial release 1989, the first NoSQL database, document database technology, currently at version 12.0.2. The acquisition from IBM to HCL 2018 and completed in 2019. Okay. The client part contains the application, which is called HCL Notes, which you need to install on all of the computers in your organization. HCL Domino is usually used on premise, so you have a server inside of your organization and clients installed on all of the end users' computers. There's also web browser client, iNotes, and various mobile clients. Okay, so the most well-known competition is Microsoft Exchange, which is the server on-prem, plus Microsoft Outlook, which is part of Microsoft Office, the email client that you install on all of the end users' computers. Okay, HCL Domino builds on files which have the extension NSF, which is called Notes Storage Facility, a document database. Okay, there's Lotus script, there's formula language, there's Java programming language, there's JavaScript programming language. IMAP, POP, LDAP. There's integration with chat in the sense of instant messaging, which is same time, etc. So let's plan on us installing HCL Domino server and client on the same machine. We're going to use a virtual machine Windows 10, and the computer will be named Domino 12 comp from computer. We'll have what's called a Domino organization, which is going to be called Domino 12 organization. We're going to have a Windows usage, which will be called admin. And the Domino installation, so the server part, will have a user which is called administrator. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm on Linux on Ubuntu 22.10. I'm going to install the Windows 10 virtual machine. New virtual machine, local ISO, Windows 10. So this ISO I have searched on the internet and found the download link from Microsoft. Okay, choose volume. It says Microsoft Windows 10, correct, forward. Let's give it 10 gigabytes of RAM. I have 16 vCPUs available, so I'm going with 15. Forward, let's make this thing 250 gigabytes. Forward, we're going to name the computer comp, Domino 12 comp. Okay, I'm going to customize before install the only network that makes sense. Finish. Yes, start this thing. Let's review. So I want BIOS, not UEFI. Great, the best motherboard. Windows 10, 15 CPUs, 10 gigabytes of RAM, SATA disk. Yeah, let's go with SATA. We'll not go with Virt. Virt is faster, but requires us to have a secondary ISO mounted. So when we boot the computer for the virtual machine for the first time, we need to have two SATA CD-ROMs inserted, one with the ISO for Windows 10 and one for the ISO with VirtIO for Windows. Okay, so let's go like that, as SATA and CD-ROM, NIC, not Virt again, and we keep the defaults. Okay, begin installation. Okay, so it says English US, install now. I don't have a product key. Let's resize a bit the Virt Manager. Okay, so we're never installing Windows 10 Home. We're using at least Windows 10 Pro. Okay, always x86. Why go for 32-bit? Next. I accept the EULA. Custom install only. Drive unallocated space. Next. And it finished formatting the hard disk for the first time. It's copying files over, installing, and then after 10 reboots we will have Windows 10, the latest version, installed. Okay, so I'll be back after the installation of Windows 10 is finished. Okay, so the virtual machine is installing. It asked me for language. Now I say I'm creating an account, offline account, limited experience please. What's my name? So my name is going to be the Windows username, so admin. Next, create a super memorable password. Okay, let's use the same password everywhere. Okay, change, select a random thing, answer very randomly. Select a random one, answer randomly. Next. Okay, next. So we're creating a VM which is called Domino 12 comp, uses Virt Manager QEMU, where I've installed Windows 10, the name of the installation of the OS. The computer name is Domino 12 comp. I've created a user which is which has administrative powers, which is named admin. Let's turn off whatever is possible. Let's customize your experience. Skip. Let Cortana, no. Okay. Meanwhile, let's see how I download the installer kits from the HCL website. So I have some screenshots prepared for that. Okay. So you search on the internet HCL software domino license and download portal. It's actually this link, the third. And I went with the first one, which is a knowledge base article. And in here it tells you how to create an account. If you have an old account, how to migrate to the new account and portal. And then the URL is this one, which ends with flexnet operations portal logon.do. Okay, which is this thing, flexnet logon. Okay, I go there. This resembles, I don't know, Okta or something. So username is the email address. Password is the password that I've set. And then I'm logged into my organization. This is how the entitlements list looks like. So in here I have my entitlement. There's in the right-hand most column download a download button. I go there and I get to the downloads page. I have the possibility of downloading these things. And I've selected HCL Domino Complete Collaboration 12.0.2. They're sorted by last update descending. Okay, not alphabetically. By clicking on HCL Domino Complete Collaboration 12.0.2, we get to this page. This one is sorted alphabetically. Yes, and the thing to do is either sort by file size and look at the largest ones, or just go through this long 124 items list and exclude what you know you certainly do not need. So you do not need an auto update, you don't need HCL connections, you don't need language packs. So in here what we want to download is this thing, HCL Domino Server 12.0.2 for Windows English. So there's just Windows, one version. There's not Windows 32-bit and 64-bit because the server is always 64-bit. Okay, and in here I'm downloading, so domino underscore 12.0.2 underscore win underscore english.exe, 800 megabytes. And then I download the client part of HCL Domino, which is called HCL Notes. Designer admin 12.0.2 for Windows English. In here I have the options to select 32-bit or 64-bit. So this is 64-bit, link above, and below is the 32-bit. And I went with 32-bit because I need to keep compatibility with existing with all of the Domino versions that are still supported by HCL, which includes HCL Domino 9, 10, 11, and 12. So HCL Domino 9 is supported until 2024 June. So that's why I went with the 32-bit download. And that's it for the screenshots. Now the virtual machine has installed. Let's see what we have here. So we have the user, which doesn't have a name. Is named admin. Okay. Let's do a bit of usual cleanup. Okay. So no Cortana, no search, no task view, no mail, no store, no Windows Explorer, no Edge. Let's install in here a Firefox. Start without your data. Yes. Continue without the data. Okay, Firefox. Where is the Firefox button? Download Firefox. Firefox installer.exe. Let's run this thing. Yes. It's installing. Okay, this should be all of our Microsoft Edge adventure. Shift delete. Okay, let's make this thing work. Skip everything. Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, customize. No spacers, no pocket, no head. Toolbars, always, no, never show. And settings. Download. Always ask. Tabs. Always blank page. Okay, and start an incognito mode window. Okay, we got until here. What should we do next? Computer name. Where is the button? This thing. So the computer name is wrong. I want Domino 12 comp. Copy paste does not work, that's a problem. So not member of an Active Directory domain, but member of the default workgroup, which is called the workgroup. Great. You must restart, okay. Let's see what's in the device manager. Seems okay. Advanced performance, what's this? Virtual memory. Okay. Startup and recovery. Okay, looks okay. System protection off. Great, that's what I want. Remote, allow connection. Apply. Restart now. So we've changed the computer name, the OS name, and we've enabled RDP server. Okay, let's start, let's try to not use Vert Manager anymore. So we'll try to connect using a RDP client. We are waiting for the computer to start. Okay, it started. This is the IP address. Okay. IPv4. Okay. The client, RDP client, is called xfreerdp. Where is an example? This thing. Okay, copy. User is called admin. We'll type the password each time. Width and height. So height and width. We want 1080p. So that's height 1080 and width 1920. The IP address is this one. Okay. What else? Let's do a bit of acceleration. Let's not bring sound here. Clipboard is enabled redirection by default. What else can we do in the name of speed? RFX. Where are you? And we want speed. So that's /network, this thing. Okay, the best speed is /network:/LAN. What else do we want? We might want resize, but this thing, dynamic resolution. It's optional. If we nail the resolution from the start, we will not need dynamic resolution. Okay, and that's it. Okay, let's try this command line. So it says, do you want to connect to this computer you've never connected before? Uppercase Y. I need to enter the password. Okay, and it has resized perfectly. So it has, I gave it a too big window size, but since dynamic resolution was enabled, it tried to maximize the window, and because it didn't have a fixed size, it resized it to the correct size. So, looking perfect. Or not. Hopefully it doesn't do any stretching. Let's see, open a Firefox window. Okay, it looks okay. Okay, what do we have next? So we'll need the two installer kits, and we'll also need a some minimal software in here. So let's go with a bit of terraforming first, of 7-zip. (64-bit exe). This is the thing. Yes. Install. Let's get a Orthodox file manager. MS Windows, portable, this thing. Yeah, we didn't set the bits per pixel, and that's a problem. Control C, we can kill the RDP client anytime, nothing bad will happen. So /bpp. This thing. (32). Control C, paste. Okay, so it said it's downloaded the file. Let's get it out of here. Cut. C. Create a new directory called temp. Make a new directory there called bin. Paste the installer. Extract the installer. Okay, so cut this directory, paste it here. What is with this speed? I don't know, but it doesn't look any good. It takes longer to copy an extracted directory than to, you know, install Windows. Come on, come on. Copying one file at a time. Okay, I'll be back when this thing finishes because it's taken forever. An unexpected error. Try again. 12 kilobytes per second moving directories. So moving directories should not cost anything. It's not copying and pasting. We're just moving files. actually don't know what this thing does. Okay, let's see if this thing runs. It says it's not signed, so run anyway. It's a giant. Let's make it smaller. Behaviors, colors, file panels. Configuration. I don't use bookmarks. File operations. File search. Material name tool, file views. No extra brief. I don't know what this thing does. Fonts. Yeah, fonts are the most important. So I'm not sure why it doesn't use the same fonts as all the other Windows apps. And why it doesn't have an adjust all sizes button. And why is this thing bold? Okay. Icons, make them as small as possible. Letters, quick search. Show main menu. Show toolbar, no thank you. Show drive buttons, maybe. Show function keys, no. Okay, editor, what's up with tab with 4? Tab indent blocks. Use spaces instead of tab. Yeah, great. So that's for the editor. Viewer. Looks okay. Now let's restart this thing. Where are you? Open. Pin to taskbar on the second position. The first one should be Firefox. Great. It still doesn't look small enough. Okay, so now we're going to need to get the installer kit. So how do we do that? From the host machine. What's this? We need to edit the virtual machine to remove the CD-ROM. Remove. Delete. We need to restart the machine. Okay. Let's see if we can just copy files over via RDP. So copying files over RDP seems to work. From a Linux machine to the Windows virtual machine. Let's do the same with the other file. Okay, let me look at the network interface cards. Where are those? Let's disable TCP IPv6. Okay, so it says it finished copying. Okay, what do we need to read here? So these settings, we need to have them close by. So first of all, we uninstall all Domino apps first. So let's see in add remove programs if we have something from IBM. Nothing. Something from HCL. Nothing. If we had, we needed to uninstall them from add remove programs and then clean up the installation directories. We'll see in a moment what are those installation directories. Okay. Next thing, install Domino. So it says I'm not running double commander as elevated as an administrator, so let's do that. Let's elevate the Orthodox file manager, so shift right click, run as an administrator, yes. And now we're elevated, so let's go Domino. What does it ask? So it wants in my Windows users temporary directory to unzip the contents of this 7-zip self-extractor file, which is the Domino server installer kit. Okay. Inside there's a install.exe file, a huge resource1.zip file. 6 files unzipped successfully. Okay, this looks like install anywhere, which smells Java. Okay, this totally smells like Java. Says Domino version 12, English. Okay, uses Eclipse Foundation and Java. Okay, this smells like Java. To continue, choose next. I accept the license agreement. Next. Where do we want to install? I always keep the defaults, which is C program files, not x86, because HCL Domino server has only 64-bit version, so C program files, /vendor /product. So it's great. Next. The data directory is a subdirectory in the install directory, which has the name data. I like the defaults. Next. Says, what should I install? Domino custom, Active Directory, Domino messaging, Domino utility. The default is Domino server. So let's go there. Next. Let's see what it does. Not partitioned. iNotes, which is the web client. Windows service. I don't see any additional HCL servers in here, such as same time, so looks great. Install. So the fonts don't respect Windows theme. The theme does not respect the Windows theme because I guess install anywhere is Java. Let's look and see. More, it says OpenJDK platform binary. Let's go there, go to details. It says java w.exe, which is the Java runtime, but with W such that it doesn't show a cmd.exe window. Okay, let's hide the UAC column and show useful columns, which are the command line and image path name. Okay, so this java w is from my Windows users temporary directory. There's then a temporary directory i16 and then Windows resource JRE bin java w, and then this on java 2d, which is swing. And then JVM memory sizes, and then where is the entry point of the executable? The Java class path. Okay. So I guess this way the same or a similar installer kit can be available on the other operating systems where you can install HCL Domino servers, such as Linux, to operating systems from IBM and Windows. Okay, it says done. So the installer kit for the HCL Domino server doesn't really ask many questions and doesn't really do much. It just extracts files and puts them into the install directory. So where is the install directory? So that thing is C program files, HCL Domino. I need to find the hidden files. Show hidden files. Where do I do that? You know where that thing is? Okay, that's it. Show hidden system files, control num dot. Okay. So this is the installation directory. This is the data directory. In here, there's a ton of NTF files or NSF files. NTF files are template files, NSF files are database files. So NTF files, being templates, contain items of type design, whereas NSF, which are databases, contain both items of type design and items actual data. So the design would be there's this table with these many columns, whereas data items would be rows in that table. Okay, so let's start HCL Domino. Too many things in the start menu. So let's clean this up a bit. So here's the settings. Okay, how do I do that? Suggestions. So it shows suggestions, and I can't disable it because I didn't activate Windows. I didn't enter a license key either. So let's see if we can just delete these things. Okay. These things used to appear when you install a new version of Windows. Will appear again. Okay. So at letter H, there's HCL Domino console and HCL Domino server. And what do we need to run? We need to start the server because it's not running it as a Windows service by default. Let's look at the list of services. What would be that? HCL Domino server. So it's stopped. The Windows service was registered, but it stopped. So I don't really want to start the Windows server. The Windows service. I'm going to run it, the Domino server, in a command prompt window. So let's go with Domino server. Yes. Okay. And it says I cannot start the Domino server in the command prompt until you go through the Domino server setup wizard, which is again Java. And let's see what it cares about. So this is the welcome page. Next. Set up a first server or a standalone server. Domino servers might be installed on more than one Windows machine. So I'm going with just one machine, just one Windows 10 machine that has both the most normal and minimal Domino server plus all of the Domino client apps. Server, so next. Okay, we need the cheat sheet back. So it says server name. Control V. Okay. What's the server title? Optional, provide a short title. Hopefully I can survive without this thing. I want to use an existing server ID file. No. Okay. Next. Organization name is going to be domino12org from organization. Okay. The server's final name domino12 comp domino12org. Typical user admin / domino12org. Organization certifier password. The same password everywhere. Okay. What's next? I want to use an existing certifier ID file. No. Domino domain name. Control C, Control V. Can be the same name as the organization name. So the organization name is domino12.org, and since the Domino domain name can be the same as the organization name, I went with that. So domino12.org again. Okay. Create the administrator's ID, administrator's name and password. Okay. You can use the name of a specific password or last name only to create a generic administrator ID that can be used by several people. So that's what I want. A generic administrator that can be used by several people. And I'm going to go with the string administrator. How should I make it uppercase? Let's do that. Control V. So my Windows user is called admin, which is elevatable as an administrator. Locally, there's an administrator's user group on Windows. There's also a local user which is called administrator. And there will be another user one which is not part of Windows but is part of Domino server, which is going to be called administrator with the same capitalization uppercase A as the local Windows user. Okay, so same password everywhere. Also, I save a local copy of the ID. Yes. The administrator ID file will be stored inside the server's Domino directory. So this is similar to an LDAP server, similar to Active Directory, Microsoft Active Directory. Also save a local copy to the data directory named admin.id. Okay. Next. Set up internet services for So we have the Domino server with the default connection that the Domino clients know how to connect to, but we'll also want IMAP, which is iNotes, which is the web app, which is a client to HCL Domino, such that we can read our email from a mobile phone or from the entire organization using just web browsers. Do we want a IMAP server? I'm not sure yet. Let's go with that too. Customize all other Domino services. What this thing is. Okay, I totally do not know what these things do. So I'm not going to go here. Sends server and mail probes and stores the statistics. Remote debug server. Domino enterprise connection services. Okay, so looks okay. Let's close this thing. And the next setup has reliably detected the following network ports on this computer. Setup suggests the host name to use in Domino directory for this Domino server based on this computer's network name. Type the fully qualified internet host name for this Domino server. I don't have a DNS domain name for this computer. Should I? Let's go without. So what you really want is you want to install a Domino server in such a way that it can send and receive emails. In order to receive emails, you will need a IPv4 address that can be pinged from the wider internet, so a routable IPv4 address, which you need to pay for. You will probably expose the server via a DMZ, demilitarized zone. You will need to have DNS records for your domain, for your MX, for your mail server, for inodes, for the web app, which I totally do not have, and this makes it impossible for me to receive email from google.com, for instance. But we'll go with this. We'll go with what we have. Next. The server hostname is not fully qualified. Whoa. Prohibit anonymous access to all databases and templates. To increase security and prevent unauthorized access of databases from the internet, we need to use HCL access control lists and edit all of the databases and templates, so all of the files with the extension NSF and NTF from this directory, such they cannot be read by anonymous access. Okay. For better manageability and administration, setup will add a system group local domain admins with manager access to all databases and templates. Okay, next. So this is the final summary. Server name domino12 comp domino12 org. Server type everything, data, directory, organization name, domain name, and click on the setup button. Okay, now the setup is finished, is complete. We can close the setup wizard. So this setup wizard runs just once when you start the Domino server for the first time. Again, after installing the HCL Domino server, it just copies file to the hard disk and registers the Windows service, etc. But doesn't know how many services to start, what's the password of the administrator, what's the name of the administrator. It did not create security files and did not populate the directory server yet. Okay, let's look again at the list of services. It's still not running. Let's do a bit of cleanup on this machine. So, group policy. administrative templates, Windows components, Microsoft Defender antivirus, turn it off, enabled, and we'll do our own. We'll decide when we install Windows updates. Automatic updates disabled. Okay, let's do one more restart. So let's go shut down first. Okay, so the CD-ROM has disappeared. We can start the machine again. That would have been a good place to create a snapshot, so let's do that. I'm going to shut down the machine, create the snapshot after installing Domino server. Okay. After installing Domino server. Okay. So now, since we have taken the precaution of creating a snapshot, the next thing to do is to actually start the Domino server. So I tried to start the Domino server. I went to Windows Start menu, clicked on HCL Domino server. The Domino server could not start because it was not configured. It started the Java wizard for configuring the Windows server. And now we'll need to do the same thing. So go to the Windows Start menu and try to start the Domino server again. I clicked in the wrong place. Sign out. Okay, so I'm not using the management console for the virtualization software. Instead, I'm just connecting via a RDP client. In my case, it's called xfreerdp. Okay, let's open this thing as administrator again. Okay, so additionally, some extra files have been created in the data directory. There's a names database, which actually contains the directory, the HCL Domino directory. Then there's the file server.id and admin.id. I don't know what format these things are. And then it took all of the NTF and NSF files and changed the ACLs on them. That's why all of the NTF and NSF files have a modified date time newer than the admin.id file, which is generated as part of the applying changes in the HCL Domino server setup wizard. Okay, so let's start again the server. HCL Domino server. Yes. in here I have the possibility of doing what everybody should do, which is actually set up the Domino Server Windows service, which I'm not going to do. I am selecting to have a bit more control. For demo purposes, I'm not selecting a Windows service, but a cmd.exe. So you should actually keep this default and check always start Domino as a service at system startup. Okay, but for a while, until I set up the server, I will go like this. I will select manually each time not to set up a window, not to start at Windows service, not to always start automatically, but to manually go with the command line application option. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's a cmd.exe. Okay, so our machine is configured wrong because this is a virtual machine. I totally do not want any firewall. So I'm going to search for ADV. This thing, Windows Defender Firewall with Advanced Security. I'm going to go with properties, off for all of the three profiles. So firewall public profile, firewall private profile, firewall state off, firewall domain profile, firewall state off. Okay. And now I can just close all of these things. Let me stop the server. How do I do that? So shutdown is in progress. I just wrote quit. This is actually a shell, so I can enter commands. It will execute my command after I press enter. So I have enabled the POP3 server, the web app, so it will start and shut down. The Domino server will shut down and start slower because of this. Okay, let's look at my firewall settings again. They look okay. Don't do this if you're exposing this machine to the internet. You might want to just use a regular router machine and do TCP port forward to this machine where you have the Domino server installed. So you will port forward HTTP 80, HTTPS 443, IMAP, POP3, and the rest of the ports which are necessary, like, I don't know, 40 ports. Okay. So I've disabled Windows Update, Windows Defender, and the Windows Firewall. Let's look at usage. How many processes do we have in here and what are they doing? So it seems that the machine is silent enough. There's unneeded MS edges. There's one drive which we want to uninstall. So a better way to install HCL Domino server is to actually install it on a Windows server machine, not on Windows 10, which is a Windows client machine. Okay. What else can we remove from here? Solitaire collection, virtual reality portal. So all of these so-called metro apps will reappear when we install the next version of Windows 10, which happens 4 times a year. Okay, Spotify. Snip and sketch. Okay, so this is just a useless exercise where I keep on installing things, and these things will reappear 4 months from now. Okay. So I only have like 4 applications installed: HCL Domino server, Mozilla Firefox 7-zip, and I've installed the Orthodox file manager by just unzipping, so portable style in c:/temp/bin. Okay, the machine seems to have plenty CPU available. The hard disk speed should be good enough. It says type HDD instead of SSD, which is why would it say such a thing? Yeah, for better performance, again, install the Windows 10 VirtIO drivers, so kernel modules. This way you can use hard disks which are VirtIO, which were way faster, and the NIC, not Intel E1000, but also of type VirtIO. Okay, so we still have enough RAM. It says 2 sockets and 2 virtual processors, which sounds really strange. What's happening there? Let me shut down this machine. Okay. CPUs, XML. So says CPU host pass-through check non-migratable on, and vCPU placement static 15. I don't know. Let's try our luck like this. One and 15 cores. Okay. Once it finished starting, I connect using the RDP client. Let's look again at the performance. Now we're talking. So 15 vCPUs instead of 2. Okay, says it's a virtual machine. The disk usage is under 10%, so it's an SSD in fact. Okay, this thing is 1 gigabit, I can see it in here. So now we're better. Let's look at the resource monitor. So we have disk, total, and storage active time. So it looks okay, doesn't seem to swap. I don't see any Windows Defender. I don't see any Windows update yet. There's these useless MS Edges. Okay, looks okay, the disk activity. And the memory, where are you, memory? Search up MS Edge. Okay, so we need to research how to stop this MS Edge preloading, or I don't know, from the settings. Choose a default app for each website. This thing, default apps, web browser, it's already selected. Let's see how fast we can get the thing. So Windows 10, stop all background ms edge.exe processes. Okay, startup boost. Open Microsoft Edge browser. Okay, 3 dots menu, settings, search for boost. Are you satisfied with startup boost? No, thank you. Send diagnostic data. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Let's see if the processes have disappeared. Sort by name, MS Edge, and they're gone. Great. Next up, let's start the Domino server. So a letter H, where are you? HCL Domino server listing. Yes. Start as a regular application. Okay. And it starts. Okay, so this was the startup of the Domino server with all of its many services. So n something.exe processes are listening on a ton of ports, on 25 SMTP, 80 HTTP, 110 POP3, 143 N IMAP, 389 N LDAP, 1352N server. What else? That's all that's listening. Doesn't do HTTPS by default from what I see. It does HTTP, so 80, but not HTTPS. Okay. Next up, let's install HCL Domino clients. So all of the client apps that I could find, which is Notes, which is the actual client app that end users use, Designer, which is meant for developers, for programmers, and Admin, which is meant for sysadmins, which are going to manage the LDAP directory service and other HCL Domino server settings. Okay, unpack. To a temporary folder. Okay. So what is this thing? Welcome to the installation wizard for HCL nodes. Okay, next. I accept the EULA. The two directories install directory correct, so we have HCL Domino clients for Windows 32-bit, so they will install by default in C: /program files x86 / vendor, which is HCL / nodes. And the data directory is a subdirectory of that install directory named data with an uppercase D. I am keeping the defaults. So I want Nodes client, which everybody wants. You want to install this everywhere on all of your computers in your organization. But I want Domino Designer because I'm a Domino developer. Okay, I also want the other client, which is the Domino Administrator. Track work with a dashboard, share task, dynamic, powerful bookmarking. I don't know what that thing is. Composite application editor. I don't know what this thing is. I don't need dictionaries. Same time is an instant messenger, so don't go there. Next, make notes my default email program. Okay. My default calendar and contacts program. Okay. Okay, so these are Eclipse Foundations OSGI plugins, or what's the name for the components for OSGI. And they kept the existing name, so com.ibm, not com.hcl, because they're part of the ABI, application binary interface. Install wizard completed, finish. What's next? Did it exit? Yes, it did exit. Okay, so that was just the installer for the clients. Now let's look at the window in the Windows Start menu. So the HCL server apps, this is a tool for managing the server, and this is actually starting the server, so this thing. Whereas the client apps are inside of the directory HCL applications in the Windows Start menu. And the tool that everybody uses, which is the email client, but also the apps client, applications client, is this thing, HCL Notes. So let's start it first. And it will try to connect for the first time. Either it will read the email from an IMAP server or POP3 server, such as gmail.com, or it will connect to an existing Domino server. Okay, so we say we want a existing Domino server. Next. Depending on how you will use notes, you may need to enter your name and the Domino server you will use. Okay, what's my name? I don't know. My name is administrator. I didn't create any other users in a Domino server except administrator. The Domino server name, this long thing. It says that's something slash another thing. Okay, I want to connect to a Domino server. The Domino server name is correct. We copied it from here and we see the sample, for example, in here. We go next. And it asks me for the password of the user administrator / domino 12.org. So it recognized the organization. It found the HCL Domino server. It could connect to it. It saw that there's a administrator user and it asks for my password. Okay, and look at this interesting password field. Usually password fields show dots, but this one shows 4 X's, 2 X's, 2 X's, 3 X's. Okay, so this is what they always did. Okay, it says what services do I want to configure in addition to connecting to the HCL Domino server. No internet mail, no NNTP, which is newsgroups news, no other LDAP. I don't need any proxy server. I don't know what this thing is. Next. So just kept the defaults. This is the splash screen. So it takes a while for the client to start. So this is the HCL Notes client. You put the password. And it takes a while to start, I don't know, 10 seconds, 100 seconds, depending on how weak your machine is. but then the second client starts instantly. Where are you? HCL applications. Another client is called HCL Domino Designer, which is for developers. So it starts instantly and doesn't ask you to which HCL Domino server to connect, doesn't ask for a user, for a password, for a Domino organization. Okay. So again, I'll start one of the clients, for instance, the Domino Designer. It doesn't know the triplet, so which username, which domain, and which password. And if I want temporarily to be offline. But then when I start the second and the third HCL Domino client, it will already know, and the next clients will start way faster. Another client is this thing, which is called HCL Domino Administrator. Okay, so this is the previous type of applications. You can see them with this styling for tabs, these interesting mouse cursors, and toolbars which have transparency or semi-glossy something. Okay, whereas the new type of applications which use the Eclipse framework from the Eclipse Foundation use look like standard Eclipse applications. Okay, so this is the old UI, old client UI, and this is the new client UI. Okay, so the server is 64-bit, and the clients where are you? There's nodes 2, this thing. And the administrator is, I don't know. So let's close nodes 2 and see what happens. It closed just the applications which use the new UI. Are you sure you want to cancel? Okay. Close. Now also NL nodes has closed. Okay. This is the dialog to select use account and server to connect to. This is the old UI. The status bar is the old style where you can see what was written to the status bar. Chooser for offline. Okay. Nodes configuration settings have been refreshed. Okay, let's start the other applications. HCL nodes. Okay, so now we have a nodes to process. And the third client, which is Domino Designer. and it reuses the same nodes2.exe process. So there's a single process for all of the new UI, new graphical user interface style applications. So nodes2 is for these two, contains these two processes, and NL nodes is the old style, the old GUI style application, so HCL Domino administrator. Okay, so let's see how we can send and read email. So there's this button, open mail. Okay, we see in here the activity. So trash for administ.nsf. So for the user with the name administrator with an uppercase A, it took the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it made a DOS style 8.3 file name, and it created this file in the data directory. This is the data directory of the HCL server in the subdirectory mail. So let's go there and see what's happening. Data directory of the server, and then there's a mail directory there, and for all of the users that I create in active in Domino, on the Domino server, it's going to create a database for the email in here. So in HCL server data directory subdirectory mail. Okay. Junk mail, inbox, drafts, sent, rules, etc. Open session for administrator Domino 12 org. So whenever one of the clients connects to the Domino server, we will have such logs in the server. Open session and closed session. Database is accessed 1, 2, 4. Okay. Let's see what awaits in our inbox. Absolutely nothing. So let's create an email. How do we do that? Create message. Okay, to whom? To myself. Administrator 12, administrator / domino12.org. Okay. Subject, hello myself. And body. Send. Okay, and in under 2 seconds we received the email. Collapse twisty icon. Okay, so the old style icon and the new style icon. Okay, so this is the similar to other email clients. This is the so-called Explorer, where you have in the left-hand side the list of email directories from this email account, and then you have a view with a list of emails, and then a preview with the body of the selected email. Okay, and then you can double click on the email to open just that email. So to exit the Explorer and actually open the email, not preview it. Okay. There's context menu here. there's a toolbar. So being a Domino developer, you can add items in the toolbar for when end users read one email. You can add items in here in the context menu of an email that's opened. You can add items in here in the HCL notes main menu actions. Okay. You can add actions when you right click on an email in the list of emails view. You can also edit this toolbar when you select one email or more. Okay, so we have the refresh button, button for composing. So let's compose a meeting. Subject. Let's meet in 2 minutes. Start. Okay. Was that 45? Save. How do we save this thing? We send it. Save and send invitations while we still can. One document selected. There's an all documents directory. So if you want to, as a developer, to enhance the inbox directory, you will also need to enhance the all documents directory. Okay. So in inbox there's just one email, but we have emails in the sent directory. This thing. And there's also this thing. A meeting which was sent. There's calendar, there's address book. Where is the address book? Open. Contacts. Welcome to the contacts formerly personal address book. Choose help using this application. Click here to close this page. Okay, so this user interface, this is actually an item which has design elements and data elements, and this can be rendered in applications that use the Domino client applications that use the old GUI, in Domino client applications that use a new GUI, in the web app iNotes, in applications for mobile phones, etc. So in various Domino clients. And they work the same. They resize the same. Remember how Adobe Flash was reflowing text and scaling the size of the text depending on the resolution. So that's how this thing has always worked. So contents of forms such as these will use the resolution that you give it. Okay, will be responsive in modern web terminology. Close. Okay, the address book is formed of user accounts. And let's look at what this thing is actually. So this is a tab, contacts tab. So we can now inspect and see what Domino database is behind this thing. File, application, and properties. Okay. Then this is old GUI, not new GUI. And in here there's the top level tabs, the first level of tabs, and then in here is the second level of tabs. Okay, and then there's group boxes. Okay, this is the group box settings. This is the group box web access. There's checkboxes, combo boxes, edit boxes, labels. Okay, and it says that this tab, the contacts tab, is in fact a Domino database or application which is called names.nsf, which lives not on the Domino server but in the Domino client data directory. So let's find this thing. Okay, this is the Domino server data directory, and there's another data directory which is the Domino client data directory, which is 32-bit. This thing, HCL nodes, data, and it's called names.nsf, this thing. Okay. And there's another names.nsf which lives in the data directory of the Domino server. This is the Domino directory database of the server, while this is the Domino directory database named administrators contacts from the local Domino client data directory. Okay. What can we see in here? There's no agents in this database. It uses 7 megabytes of space. All Domino databases can be compacted and fixed if they have issues, or sort of like a FS check, file system check. So Microsoft Access also has this thing. So compact button, let's see what the compact button actually does. So it was 7 megabytes previously, and now it's still 7 megabytes. Okay, then it says ODS version, which means on a disk format. So since the first version of Lotus Notes, which is in the 80s, the format for NSF files has changed 55 times. And if you have a very old names.nsf from the first version of Lotus Notes from the 80s, you can open it in HCL Notes and you can read it and it works correctly. So backwards compatibility is really good. And then if you want, you can increase the on-disk specification version from version 1 to version, I don't know, 50 or 52 or 55, which is one of the newest. Okay, there's a C time and an M time. Documents means how many data items exist in this database. So there's 189 of them. This is the printing tab. I don't know what it does. This is the design tab. So if you hover on the tabs, it will show a tooltip. So the first one is database basics, then info, then printing, and then design. So says the database is called names.nsf, and it was created when needed from a file which has the extension ntf. Okay, and that file which has the extension ntf, because it's a HCL Domino database or application template file, was copied and it was renamed to names.nsf. Okay, how did it know which file to use when created a names.nsf? It knew that it needs to look at all of the NTF files that have a special field where it says template name, and the template name in that NTF file should be standard release 4 personal address book. Okay. And if you edit that NTF file, you can tell this NSF file to inherit the whatever you changed in the NTF file. So maybe you hid this vertical list of alphabet letters in the NTF file, and then you tell the database names.nsf to take all of the newest design items from the NTF file, so this vertical bar will be hidden also in the names.nsf database or application file and will not be shown in HCL nodes. What is this? It says launch, so whenever you open the contacts NSF file for the first time, it will open a designated frame set and will show, so this is the designated frame set, is a frame set named contacts. And then when it's opened for the first time, names.nsf in a HCL Domino client, it will show the document about application. Okay, and we have the option to show this, which is the splash screen, right? So we can show the splash screen even if we have seen the splash screen already. Okay, what else? What's this thing? Full text search and index. Okay, not indexed, and advanced. This dialog tries to be as small as possible because in the 90s there used to be really small sized screens with really small resolution. And this thing has also worked on Windows 3.11, which is before the Windows GUI revamp from Windows 95. Okay. Optimize document map, don't override free table, maintain last access, disable transaction logging, use compression for attachments, compress database design and document data. Okay, so data is separated from design, but there's still elements or items inside of an NSF or an NTF file. Okay. And the other thing is this button, which what does it do? It collapses to tabs. The database was not found. Please select the servers to search. Docklink database. So there's help database which is correlated to this database. Okay, so now that we know a bit about this HCL Domino application, let's look at it some more. So we have the application which is called HCL Domino Designer. Where are you? Let's open this thing. So names.nsf from the HCL client data directory. File, application, open, local, names.nsf, open. Okay, you can see that the new UI is really cramped, and in small resolutions there's a ton of wasted space, and whereas the old UI sometimes is really efficient with space. It's really compact. Where is the... Okay. So right now it lost what's the current application selected, which happens a lot. We go File, Application, and this context menu is totally messed up. It doesn't offer the option to see the old UI for the application or database or NSF or NTF properties. It shows the new UI for it, which I do not want to see. Okay. So database is have design items and have data items. One of the design items is the icon of the application. There's a title which is called administrators contacts. There's a file name which is called names.nsf. There's forms, and forms are databases. If you make a change, you may lose them. Okay, not a problem. So they're both RAD style applications, so you can move around you can put more controls on this form, but also these things that have a for instance, this is also a column in a table. So this form is actually GUI layout, which you can drag and drop and change. You have all of the tools of GUI designers. Most GUI designers out there, the C#, System Windows Forms GUI Designer, the Delphi GUI designers, and this one look pretty similar. They all have RAD functionality, so you can just by drag and drop add a new radio button, stretch a multi-line text box, etc. But there's also a second part, which is that in here there's fields, and this character set groups is in fact a field, and this language list is in fact a field. This language to char set is a field. So all of the fields in fact are columns in a table. So there's a table behind what we see here, and this represents columns in that table. Field, field, field. Okay. And we have editors both for the RAD style controls, rapid application design and development. So for an edit box or for a label, as in this case. But also we have actions that happen when you change, for instance, in this combo box, if you change the version, what does it happen? What's shown by default in this combo box? So there's enums, there's default values, there's actions that happen when you click inside of a text box, there's on click, there's on focus, okay, and the actions, so as it would be event implementations, could be written in more than one programming language. That's why we have this combo box here. So in this combo box we can select one of the following programming languages. Not all of them are available all of the time, but the list is like this: formula language, which is in this combo box you can see here written formula. Then there's a language similar to Visual Basic for Applications. So Visual Basic for Applications is the default programming language that's used in Microsoft Office, the desktop application. And in here it's called Lotus script, so not VB script, not Visual Basic for Application, not Visual Basic script, not JavaScript. So it's actually a programming language in the family of VBA, Visual Basic for Applications, and it's called Lotus script. Okay, and then there might be Java and there might be JavaScript, so for interactivity. For instance, when you run this on blur event, you have two event handlers, one for the client, which is when users open a desktop Domino client, such as HCL Notes, and then you might have another implementation of this event when this event happens inside of the web app, the web client to HCL Domino Notes, which is called iNotes. And on the web, the selection is between JavaScript and Common JavaScript. On the client, the selection is between Lotus script and JavaScript and Common JavaScript. Okay. There's on the web, there's on the client. This is formula language. This is Lotus script language. So again, the syntax is the same with the one from VB's Visual Basic Script, Microsoft Visual Basic Script, or Microsoft's VBA Visual Basic for Applications. Okay, this is a sub algorithm. This is a parameter or argument. So this is basically the declaration of a function. This would be the implementation, and this is the signature of the function. And this is the type, and this is the name of the argument. Okay. So a ton of work, and again, this works both with old GUI clients and new GUI clients, and tries to work correctly on very small resolutions. It will resize, show scroll bars, etc., depending on your on the resolution of the client, of the Domino client that you're using. Okay. When you click on the next button, it will execute the method next on the object with, which is the wizard. Which is the with? This thing. And when it does next, what does it do? Okay, why would you use which programming language? So you should try if the amount of programming language that you need to do on that item is really small, and if it's possible to do it in formula in just a couple of lines, it's better to do it in formula language. There's no formula language on the web. Okay, if you don't have that option, if I know the source code is too complicated, the fallback is to go, the next increment would be to go with Lotus script, and then the next increment is Java, or you can call shared code that's written in Java. There's agents that run each time you click on a button, or each time you open an NSF file, or each time an email is received, or each time you want to reply to an email, or every day at 4 p.m. Where is the properties for this agent? Double click on the agent. You close the all tabs. Okay. This agent is written in formula, has just one action, and what are the properties of the agent? another formula action. Okay, this is a action script agent. So for the agents that are written in ActionScript, not in formula language, you have additional options. So this is the JavaScript, the Lotus script IDE. This thing, this shows the similar to a source code file. It shows the outline of that file. If you click on the top item, you can see the entire source code in that file. But you can also see sections of that file, such as all of the top level declarations, this part. If you click on display key, it's going to select this thing. Where are display key? This thing, but it's going to display just this part. Okay. If you click on options, it's going to display just the header and the option public. So just this part. If you're going to click on initialize, it's going to show you just the method initialize. So it starts with sub initialize and ends with end sub. Okay, there's no collapser in here. And there's another procedure function which is called the process group, which is this thing. And there's evaluate document, this one, process document, this one, and there's one more which is terminate. This is not implemented. That's why it's not shown in the source code. It's empty. Okay, and then in the bottom, in the properties tab, you can select additional options about this agent. So first of all, there's the name of the agent. It's called copy to personal address book. Then this agent is run on event, on the event of agent list selection for all selected documents. Okay. You could have it on schedule. You could have it, I don't know, daily at 2 a.m.